like to do arts and craft and things like that often have a whole load of bits and pieces lying around, but they're also, and I expect this is you, really good at using up all of those odds and ends. But sometimes we can think, oh, what am I going to do with all of these? So in this week's Doodle Club, we are going to use odd bits and pieces, bits of paper mainly, and we're just going to have some fun, actually. Welcome if you are new. My name is Kate Field, artist, teacher and speaker, passionate about helping people to develop their creative spirit, and welcome back all you lovely ones who have been with me for ages. Thank you for your comments and your uplifting words. They're just fabulous and they make me very, very happy. So thank you for that. So let's go. Over the last few months, I have been collecting envelopes and I'm not quite sure why. And I knew I wanted to use them for something. And today I know what I'm going to do. Yay! So on the inside of a lot of these confidential envelopes, you get from the bank and whatever, they've got these lovely patterns on the inside. And we're going to use these as neutral backgrounds for this series of work. And we're going to, sorry, that is Monty's paw. Monty is still here. There he is. Let's just, yeah, with his head on the keyboard. Lovely. Thanks, Mont. Yeah, the last few days he's just wanted to be close next to me. I can see he's going to get covered in paint. The other thing we're going to use is this faded paper. This is from an old kind of dictionary. Old textbooks are really good, where the paper goes a little bit yellow, because they are going to make the really terrific neutral backgrounds. So the first thing we're going to do is to make little rectangles. You can use a ruler and tear them, or you can use a pair of scissors. It doesn't really matter. Let's just do like this, and I'm going to tear some as well. And they're all going to be quite small, about that sort of size. And oh, we're going to make a few of them and put them into the sketchbook. I'm just sticking these shapes into my sketchbook. I'm using a double page because I think it works well, but you use whatever you need. Oh, that's just gone a little bit. So whatever you want, it doesn't matter. That is getting very sticky. Let's turn it around that way. Put it there. I'm just using an ordinary glue stick, nothing fancy. You could use double-sided tape, glue dots or something like that. But the idea is we're just putting these onto the page as backgrounds. Okay, just put that. I am getting very sticky again. Some of it could overlap. We just kind of move it around, look at the composition on the page and stick them on. And then we are going to do some contrasting shapes to put on the top. So I'm going to use a hole punch to cut out some circles. Oh, it's got a little bit squiffy. You could just cut out shapes. I'm going to just cut them out with scissors as well. It doesn't have to be perfect circles. They can just be ordinary shapes. And sometimes actually a kind of a strange sort of circle shape can look quite good. Let's just do those. But yeah, if you want to use a hole punch, then you do that. Just put those. So I'm using all of the pieces that I had before from the envelopes. And the idea is that you're going to do some contrasting textures and patterns on these. It's really good for working out things like composition and sort of practicing ideas of things that you like and things that work, and that kind of thing. So let's do that. We're going to be sticking some of these on, but also going to be adding some colour, so we can do a little bit of contrast of colour as well as contrast of texture. Let's just do a few more of this. So I really hope you're well. It's lovely reading all your comments, and for those of you who have joined the Facebook group, oh my goodness, what a lovely group that is. So welcoming and supportive of people who are new and trying out new things for the first time, and for those of you who are more established, who are breaking out of your comfort zones a little bit. How lovely is that? Let's just do a few more of these, and I'm going to be putting these over onto the page, just using a bit of glue. Then we're going to put some more colours on. So I've stuck on my shapes. Let's just move that up a little bit like that. And now I'm going to be using some acrylic pens. You could use felt tip pens, something like that. And I'm going for sort of brighter colours. I'm going to use pink, purple and green. We'll start off with my lime green. And what we're going to do is we're going to just sort of draw in to some of these shapes. I'm going to do some lines like this, or like contour lines. And I'm just sort of building up an idea of these, what is going on in the background, just to create sort of something that's a bit interesting. And this might be something that I will then develop further. I know I go on about that all the time. Oh, I didn't stick that one down. But it's really important that we try out ideas and then see where they go. So I'm actually quite liking this purple. These pens are quite fun because they've got different tones. Don't know whether you can see the difference there on each end of the pen. Like that. Just put a few dots there. Let's go back in with the green. So you can just sort of really doodle on these with different shapes and make them as complicated or as simple as you like. But you can see the contrast, which I really like. I think that when we start to get contrasts of colour, contrasts of shape and contrasts of texture within one piece, that can actually be quite exciting. Put that there. I can't move it back because Monty is still in the way. Let's do that. There we go. So how's the weather? We haven't had a weather update. The lovely thing about the English summer is that we all have a good old moan because it's all cloudy and rainy and that kind of stuff. And then the sun comes out and we all get really excited. And then we all start moaning again because it's too hot. It's quite funny. But at the moment we've had some very beautiful sunny days, which is very nice. And because I live by the sea, I have a bit of a breeze as well. So that's nice. I'm just sort of putting in some other shapes here. I might come in with a different colour. Let's do this. And you know, some of these I will like, and others I will reject and think, no, I don't like that at all. And that's the whole point. The whole point is that we doodle, we play. I know I say that all the time. There we go. Just putting sort of wiggly lines in, and just seeing the sort of things that I like and things that I might do a little bit later. And you know, you could add all sorts of things. You could start adding words if you wanted to, but I'm going to stick to this idea of shape. Let's see what happens if I put in a more angular shape. You could always use crayons on this as well. It doesn't have to be anything too expensive at all. We don't, when we're trying out new things, we don't want to be spending a lot of money. You know, if you like the idea of creating collage, when you're just sort of trying something out, it's nice, I think, to have the freedom to play. Let's just do one more up here. So I've been playing a little bit more. Let's just pull that out a touch. And I've put in different colours. I've kind of kept to this sort of the brighter colours. And now I'm just going in with my black pen. You could use a Sharpie pen or a black felt tip pen. And I'm just going to highlight around some of the shapes that I've got here. And again, I'm just sort of playing with it, just sort of the joy of just doodling. It's so lovely. And I really do encourage you to not think about it too much. So I'm going to continue with these neutral colours. I've got 2 pages of a magazine that I'm going to use as the backing papers. And I'm going to very quickly do this. I'll spend too much time. Certainly not going to think about it too much. And just using the glue stick, I'm going to cover each page with these neutral colours. So again, I've got bits from the envelope. These are quite large pieces. Like I say, I'm not thinking about it too much. I just want to cover the whole of the page. Sort of different types of text from these old damaged books that were going to be thrown away. And you know, I love using things that would normally just end up in the bin, because I think that well, I think we can find beauty in the rubbish, really. Try not to get distracted by all the text. Oh dear. I used to use newspapers a lot when I was teaching at schools and college, and it was always very funny with students. I'd suddenly find that they weren't doing anything, and I was sort of looking, and they're engrossed in some article in the Financial Times or something. It was very funny. So I'm just sort of covering those up. So you see quite large pieces just going on, just to cover until you have 2 sheets covered in the neutral pages. So I've covered both sheets, and I'm now going to divide them into 8. Now you could use scissors. I'm just going to use my craft knife here. Make sure that all the bits are stuck down. You might need to just sort of redo them a little bit. So we're just going to do these into quarters first of all. we go. Like that. And then into eighths. So just folding that in half again. So I can just see where that centre line is. Just line that up. There we go. It will get a bit jaggedy, but that's okay. So you will end up with all your little pieces, and these are the bits that we're going to put into the sketchbook. So I'm back to my sketchbook. I am going to be doing a little bit more on that in a moment. I'm just going to turn over the page, and I'm going to put in these pieces now. You can put them in however you want. You might want to turn them round, see what they look like. They're sort of these lovely sort of neutral spaces, which I think work really well. So yeah, I'm just sort of playing around with how they might look on the page. I like sort of muddling things up a little bit, see how it works. So I'm going to stick those on the page. I've got some left over, and I'll do, that one's a little bit boring, so I'm just going to move that one. Let's just put that one there. But straight away, they're beginning to look interesting without anything else on them at all. And these ones I will save for something else. So, going to get those stuck down. I've gone back to this page where I was putting in my circles, and I'm just using my Sharpie pen again. You could use a black biro. This one's running out actually, but that's okay. We're just playing with some ideas. I'm just sort of going over some of the shapes that I've done, putting in some more marks, and just enjoying the process, because what I wanted to see and really explore is the contrast between the neutral backgrounds and then the colours on the top. And then what I will do is I'll use this as a starting point. You know, I might get my viewfinder, which right, that seems to have got lost. Where's my viewfinder gone? Right, I will find that in a moment. It probably got knocked off actually when Monty decided to move, and everything kind of went flying. So, yes, that was quite funny. That's yeah. So just sort of putting in those, and you know, you could put in other marks as well. I might kind of pick up my white pen and see what that might look like. Put in some dots. I know that there's quite a few of you that, like me, who love dots. Love a dot. It's great fun. Yeah, putting in some lines, but you could also put some stencils on the top of this as well. It's your experimental piece. You decide what you want to do. Right, turning the page, I've now got my neutral spaces, and what I want to do on this one is I'm going to add some more collage, but the collage is going to be brightly coloured, and I've got these either from the collage pieces that I've created before or from magazines. So if you've done collage before, or if you've followed my tutorials on collage or somebody else's, you will have a stash of collage papers. just waiting, aren't they? They're just waiting. And I sort mine out into colours most of the time when I'm feeling organised. And what we're going to do is to use some of these. Just going to cut out some shapes that we are then going to stick onto the neutral. I'll cut some and I will tear some. But whereas this was quite random to create the backgrounds, this bit is going to be a little bit more structured. So I'm going to just sort of start to place some of these brighter colours onto the neutral. And what I like to do is to kind of keep this cohesion going. So with this piece here, these colours, I will put a little bit on each one. Like this. Some might just have a tiny bit, but it's like an echo. And when you have these little echoes, it can work really well, and it can be very, very effective. And although I do like a messy sketchbook, some pages I like to just look good, and that they become very inspirational as well, and I can try out different things. Now these I'm just keeping quite angular, but you could tear your shapes. So I've got another one of this one. This paper was just used with leftover paint. So I had leftover paint on the palette, bit of copier paper, cheap copier paper, and just used up the paint. So I liked this colour combination. I was doing something, I think I was doing a abstract piece with acrylic paint for that one. So I'm just sort of putting these across with that one. I'm now going to find another piece. I'm going to use this one. I was using stencils for this one. I think this one I will do some torn pieces. And again, I'm just going to put a little bit of this on each one. So that would be that one. And then I'm going to choose one other piece. This one. Again, this was leftover paint, and I will do that on the rest of it, and I'll show you what it looks like in a moment. So there we are with those first two bits. I haven't done this one yet, and I don't think I'm going to. I've put these bits on, and I actually really like this effect. So I've got that one, and we've got that one. So I think that is quite a lot for you to be getting on with, and I really hope you enjoy it. Now, I have put together a membership called Open Studio. If that's something that you think that you might like, it's a way of expressing yourself, taking your art a little bit further. And there's some details in the description, but I'll be talking about it a little bit later in another tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed this week's Doodle Club, and you've now got lots and lots of ideas of how to use all of those odds and ends and bits and pieces that you've been saving because you knew you were going to use them. I know that. Oh yes. If you haven't liked and subscribed and you think that this is something that you would like to see more of, that would be so lovely. So lovely. And if you want to join Open Studio, the description is below and you can do that. So have a wonderful rest of your day, lots and lots of creating, and if you want to do some more, you could look at this one or this one, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.